boardroom doors swung shut with a resounding thud, sealing in the tension that had been building like a storm cloud over the New York skyline. Richard Harlan, the iron-fisted CEO of Harlan Tech, slammed his fist on the mahogany table, his face flushed with righteous indignation. "This company has no room for distractions or scandals," he bellowed, pointing an accusatory finger at Xerxes Rivera, the young marketing analyst who'd just been outed by a malicious email leak. "You're fired, effective immediately. Pack your things and get out." Xerxes stood frozen, his heart pounding as the room erupted in murmurs. He had worked tirelessly for 3 years, climbing the ranks with innovative campaigns that boosted the company's revenue by millions. But now, because of a private photo from a Pride event that somehow made its way to the executive inbox, he was being discarded like yesterday's news. As security escorted him out, Xerxes caught a glimpse of Jordan Harlan, Richard's son and the firm's rising star in operations, sitting pale-faced at the end of the table, his eyes wide with horror but his mouth clamped shut. Jordan's world tilted on its axis in that moment. He and Xerxes had been together for over a year, their relationship a carefully guarded secret in the shadows of corporate ladders and family expectations. Jordan had met Xerxes at a company retreat, drawn to his sharp wit and unyielding passion for justice. What started as late-night collaborations turned into stolen kisses in empty conference rooms, whispered promises under the city lights. But Jordan, heir to the Harlan empire, couldn't risk coming out, not with a father who viewed anything deviating from the traditional path as a weakness. Now, watching Xerxes being humiliated, Jordan felt a knife twist in his gut. He wanted to stand up, to shout that this was wrong, that Xerxes was more than his orientation. Instead, he remained silent, his cowardice burning like acid. As Xerxes gathered his belongings from his cubicle, the office buzzed with whispers. Colleagues who'd once praised his work now averted their eyes, some out of sympathy, others out of fear. He slung his bag over his shoulder and headed for the elevator, his mind racing. How had that photo leaked? It was from a private album shared only with close friends and Jordan. A seed of doubt planted itself in his chest. Had Jordan betrayed him to protect his own position? No, that couldn't be. Jordan had sworn his love just last night, in their tiny Brooklyn apartment, promising they'd find a way to be open someday. Meanwhile, Jordan slipped out of the boardroom, his phone buzzing with a text from Xerxes. "What the hell just happened? Call me." He stared at the screen, fingers trembling. His father's voice echoed in his head from countless family dinners. A Harlan man leads with strength, not sentiment. Richard had built the company from nothing, a self-made billionaire who preached family values while ignoring his own son's quiet struggles. Jordan's mother had passed away young, leaving him to navigate his father's rigid world alone. Coming out would shatter everything, the inheritance, the legacy, the fragile bond they had left. That evening, Jordan paced his luxury Manhattan penthouse, the city lights mocking his isolation. He finally dialed Xerxes' number. "I'm so sorry," he choked out when Xerxes answered. "I froze. I didn't know what to do." "You froze?" Xerxes' voice cracked with anger and hurt. "Your father just destroyed my career because I'm gay, and you sat there like a statue. Do you even care?" "Of course I care," Jordan protested. "But it's complicated. If I speak up now, he'll disown me. We'll lose everything." Xerxes laughed bitterly. "Everything? You mean you're everything? I just lost my job, Jordan. And for what? Hiding us like some dirty secret." The call ended with Xerxes hanging up, leaving Jordan staring at his reflection in the window. He knew he had to choose, his father's approval or the man he loved. But choices like these came with prices, and Jordan wasn't sure he could afford either. The next day, Xerxes woke up in his cramped apartment, unemployment staring him in the face. He scrolled through job listings, but his mind kept drifting back to the leak. Digging deeper, he remembered sharing the photo album link with Jordan during a vulnerable moment. Could Jordan have accidentally forwarded it? Or worse, intentionally? Paranoia gnawed at him as he applied for positions, each rejection email a reminder of the stigma he faced. Jordan, back at the office, avoided his father's gaze during their morning briefing. Richard clapped him on the back. Good call staying quiet yesterday, son. We can't let personal matters interfere with business. Jordan nodded mechanically, but inside, rage simmered. He decided to confront Xerxes in person that night, hoping to salvage what was left. Arriving at Xerxes's door with takeout as a peace offering, Jordan was met with a wary stare. "We need to talk," he said. Inside, they sat on the worn couch, the air thick with unspoken accusations. "Did you leak the photo?" Xerxes asked point-blank. Jordan's eyes widened. "What? No. How could you think that?" "Because you're the only one who had access," Xerxes shot back. "And you've been so scared of your dad finding out." Jordan buried his face in his hands. "I'm terrified, okay? But I would never betray you. Maybe it was hacked. We'll figure it out." They spent the night piecing together possibilities, their bond fraying but not broken. Yet, as Jordan left at dawn to avoid suspicion, he knew this was just the beginning of the storm. Weeks passed in a blur of job interviews for Xerxes and mounting pressure at work for Jordan. The leak's origin remained a mystery, but whispers in the office suggested it came from an internal rival jealous of Xerxes's rapid rise. Jordan hired a private investigator discreetly, using his own funds to avoid alerting his father. The PI uncovered that a colleague, Mark from sales, had accessed Xerxes's email through a phishing scam and forwarded the photo to Richard anonymously, hoping to curry favor. Armed with this knowledge, Jordan debated his next move. Confront Mark? Go to HR? Or tell his father the truth about everything? Each option carried risks. Exposing the company's security flaws could damage its reputation, and revealing his relationship might end his career trajectory. Xerxes, meanwhile, landed a freelance gig at a smaller firm, but the pay was half what he made at Harlan Tech. He missed the challenge, the camaraderie, but most of all, he missed Jordan's unwavering support, or what he thought was unwavering. Their meetings grew infrequent, Jordan citing family obligations that Xerxes suspected were excuses. One evening, at a quiet cafe in Greenwich Village, Xerxes voiced his frustrations. "We're drifting, Jordan. Is this what you want? A half-life?" Jordan reached across the table, his hand trembling. "No, I want us. But my dad's been pushing me to take on more responsibility. He's talking about grooming me for CEO. And what about us?" Xerxes pressed. "When do we fit into your grand plan?" Jordan sighed. "Soon. Promise. Just give me time." But time was a luxury they didn't have. Richard announced a family gathering at their Hamptons estate to celebrate Jordan's promotion to VP. "Bring a date," he insisted over lunch. "It's time you settled down. The board likes stability." Jordan panicked. He couldn't bring Xerxes, but refusing would raise questions. In a moment of desperation, he asked his old college friend, Sarah, to pose as his girlfriend. "Just for one night," he begged her, "to keep up appearances." Sarah agreed reluctantly, sensing the turmoil beneath his request. The dinner was a lavish affair, with Richard toasting to future generations of Harlans. Jordan sat beside Sarah, forcing smiles as his father grilled him about wedding bells. All the while, Xerxes waited alone in Brooklyn, unaware of the charade. The next morning, photos from the event surfaced on social media. Jordan and Sarah looking cozy. A mutual friend tagged Xerxes, and his heart shattered. He confronted Jordan via text. "Who the hell is she?" Jordan rushed over, explanations tumbling out. "It was fake, just to appease my dad. I didn't mean for it to hurt you." "But it did," Xerxes said, tears streaming. "You're ashamed of me, of us." Jordan pulled him close. "I'm not ashamed. I'm scared. Losing you would break me, but losing my family, it's all I've known." They argued late into the night, voices rising and falling like waves. Xerxes demanded Jordan come out or end it. Jordan pleaded for patience, citing the potential fallout. Disinheritance, public scandal, ruined careers. In the end, they fell into an uneasy truce, but the crack in their foundation widened. As months rolled on, Jordan threw himself into work, earning his father's praise while ignoring the growing distance from Xerxes. Xerxes, fueled by resentment, joined an LGBTQ plus advocacy group, channeling his pain into activism. He spoke at rallies, sharing his story anonymously at first, then boldly under his own name. The media picked it up, a fired employee calling out Harlan Tech's discriminatory practices. Richard caught wind of it during a board meeting. "That Rivera kid is stirring trouble," he growled. "Handle it, Jordan." Jordan's stomach churned. "Dad, maybe we were wrong to fire him. The leak was malicious." Richard waved him off. "Doesn't matter. We have an image to protect." Torn, Jordan met Xerxes secretly in Central Park. "Your activism, it's brave, but it's putting heat on the company. On me." Xerxes's eyes hardened. "Good. Maybe it's time for change. Are you with me or against me?" Jordan hesitated, and in that pause Xerxes saw the truth. "I guess that's my answer," he said, walking away. The separation hit Jordan like a freight train. He drowned his sorrow in work, but nightmares plagued him. Visions of a life without Xerxes, empty and hollow. His performance slipped, drawing Richard's concern. "What's eating you, son?" Jordan almost confessed then, but fear choked him. Instead, he lied, "Just stress." Little did he know Xerxes was plotting his next move. A lawsuit against Harlan Tech for wrongful termination and discrimination. The papers were filed quietly, but the storm was brewing. The lawsuit hit the headlines like a bombshell. Former employee sues Harlan Tech for anti-gay discrimination. Reporters camped outside the company's headquarters. Microphones thrust at anyone who dared exit. Richard Harlan roared in his office, crumpling the newspaper. "This is war. Get our lawyers on it. Bury him." Jordan read the article on his phone, his coffee turning cold. Xerxes's face stared back from the screen, resolute and defiant. How had it come to this? He tried calling, but Xerxes blocked his number. Desperate, he showed up at Xerxes's apartment unannounced. "What are you doing here?" Xerxes demanded, barring the door. "Please hear me out," Jordan begged. "This lawsuit, it's destroying everything. Dad's furious. The stock's dipping." Xerxes crossed his arms. "And whose fault is that? You chose silence over us." "I was wrong," Jordan admitted, his voice breaking. "I should have stood up for you from the start. But suing? It's personal now." "It's justice," Xerxes countered. "For me, for others like me. Your family's company can't just ruin lives without consequences." They stood in the hallway, the weight of their choices hanging heavy. Jordan reached for Xerxes's hand, but he pulled away. "I still love you," Jordan whispered. "Love isn't enough if it's hidden," Xerxes replied, closing the door softly but firmly. Back home, Jordan confronted his father for the first time. "Dad, Xerxes's lawsuit has merit. Firing him was unfair." Richard's eyes narrowed. "Since when do you care about that queer kid?" The slur hit Jordan like a slap. "Don't call him that. He's a good man, better than most." Richard laughed coldly. "What's this? Sympathy for the enemy? Focus on the family legacy, not sob stories." That night, Jordan lay awake, replaying his life. Raised in privilege, he'd never questioned his father's views. Homophobia masked as traditional values. But loving Xerxes had opened his eyes to the pain of marginalization. He decided to meet with the company's lawyers privately, urging a settlement. "It's the right thing," he insisted. The lawyers dismissed him. "Your father wants to fight." Frustrated, Jordan leaked internal emails to Xerxes's attorney, anonymously, of course, showing the discriminatory undertones in Richard's decisions. It was a betrayal of blood for love, and the guilt gnawed at him. The trial date loomed, tensions escalating. Xerxes's advocacy group rallied support, protests forming outside Harlan Tech. Jordan watched from his office window, spotting Xerxes in the crowd, chanting for equality. Their eyes met briefly, a spark of old affection amid the chaos. Richard called an emergency family meeting, just him and Jordan, since there were no siblings. "We need to present a united front," he said. "No weaknesses." Jordan nodded, but his resolve cracked. "Dad, what if I told you I'm gay?" The words hung in the air. Richard's face paled. What did you say? I'm gay, Jordan repeated stronger. And Xerxes, he's my partner. Or was. Richard exploded. Impossible. You're a Harlan. This is a phase, a mistake. Get help or you're out. Jordan stood tall. It's not a phase. It's who I am. And if you can't accept that, then maybe I don't belong here. He stormed out, heart racing. For the first time, he felt free, but the cost was immediate. Richard cut off his access to company accounts, froze his assets. Jordan crashed on a friend's couch, jobless and penniless overnight. Xerxes heard about the fallout through mutual contacts. Conflicted, he reached out via email. Heard what happened. You okay? Jordan's reply was simple. No, but I should have done this sooner. They met in a neutral spot, a bench by the Hudson River. Why now? Xerxes asked. Because losing you woke me up, Jordan said. I betrayed myself by hiding. And in a way, I betrayed you too. Xerxes softened. It hurt, Jordan, watching you choose them over us. I know, and I'm sorry, but the lawsuit, can we talk about dropping it? Not for Dad. For us. Xerxes shook his head. It's bigger than us now. People are counting on this. The conversation ended in stalemate, but a tentative bridge formed. Jordan joined the advocacy group anonymously, volunteering behind the scenes. He rebuilt his life, taking a low-paying job at a nonprofit, learning humility. Richard, meanwhile, doubled down, hiring PR firms to spin the narrative. But leaks Jordan's doing exposed more dirt, including old emails with homophobic jokes. The board pressured Richard to step down temporarily. In court, Xerxes took the stand, recounting the firing with raw emotion. Jordan watched from the gallery, pride swelling despite the pain. The courtroom buzzed with anticipation as the trial unfolded. Xerxes's testimony painted a vivid picture of discrimination, his voice steady despite the defense attorney's aggressive cross-examination. Mr. Rivera, isn't it true you violated company policy by sharing personal photos? The lawyer pressed. No, Xerxes replied firmly. The photo was private, hacked, and leaked maliciously. This is about prejudice, not policy. Jordan sat in the back, disguised in a hat and glasses, his heart aching. He had chosen to testify as a surprise witness for the plaintiff, a decision that would sever ties with his father forever. When called to the stand, gasps rippled through the room. Richard, seated with his legal team, turned ashen. Jordan Harlan, the judge announced. Under oath, Jordan revealed everything, the relationship, the cover-up, the internal biases. My father fired Xerxes not for performance, but because he's gay. And I stayed silent because I was afraid. But no more. The defense objected furiously, but the damage was done. Headlines screamed, CEO's son turns against father in discrimination suit. Afterward, Richard cornered Jordan in the hallway. You traitor. After everything I've given you. You gave me material things, Dad, Jordan said quietly. But you never gave me acceptance. Richard walked away, disowning him publicly in a press statement. Jordan is no longer part of this family or company. The verdict came swiftly, Harlan Tech guilty, ordered to pay damages and implement diversity training. Xerxes won, but victory tasted bittersweet. At a post-trial gathering with supporters, he spotted Jordan lingering outside. Why did you do it? Xerxes asked, pulling him aside. For you. For us. For what's right. Jordan replied. I lost everything, but I gained my integrity. They embraced, tears mingling. Can we try again? Jordan whispered. Xerxes hesitated. Maybe, but no more secrets. Rebuilding wasn't easy. Jordan moved in with Xerxes, their small apartment a far cry from his former luxury. He faced societal backlash. Old friends ghosted him. Tabloids labeled him a disgraced heir. Xerxes dealt with his own demons, trusting Jordan after the betrayals. Family pressure mounted when Richard's sister, Aunt Elaine, reached out. Your father's hurting, Jordan. He misses you, but pride won't let him say it. Jordan met her for coffee. He disowned me. What am I supposed to do? Forgive, she urged. Families break, but they can mend. Torn, Jordan discussed it with Xerxes. Part of me wants reconciliation, but not if it means compromising who I am. Xerxes nodded. Do what's best for you. But remember, he has to change too. Jordan arranged a meeting with Richard at a neutral cafe. The older man looked aged, the scandal having forced his early retirement. You destroyed me, Richard said gruffly. No, Dad. Your prejudices did, Jordan countered. I love Xerxes. That's not changing. Richard sighed. I was raised differently. Times change, I guess. It was a small concession, but a start. They parted with awkward handshakes. No promises, but a door cracked open. As their relationship deepened, new conflicts arose. Xerxes's activism took him on the road, leaving Jordan feeling neglected. You're always fighting the world, Jordan complained one night. What about us? It's because of us that I fight, Xerxes said. To make a better world for people like us. Jordan understood, but jealousy simmered when Xerxes bonded with a fellow activist, Tom. Openly gay, unburdened by family drama. Whispers of flirtation reached Jordan, testing his trust. Confronting Xerxes? Is there something with Tom? Xerxes laughed. No, he's a friend. You're paranoid because of your past. The argument escalated, old wounds reopening. Maybe I'm not cut out for this, Jordan muttered. Don't you dare run now, Xerxes warned. We've come too far. They sought counseling, unpacking layers of trauma, the firing, the secrecy, the family rift. It was grueling but necessary. Society's gaze weighed heavy too. At a pride parade, they marched hand in hand, but hecklers shouted slurs, reminding them prejudice lingered. Through it all, their love endured, forged in fire. Healing took time, but cracks persisted. Jordan struggled with his diminished status, applying for jobs only to face rejections due to the scandal's shadow. No one wants the guy who betrayed his own father, he lamented to Xerxes. You did the right thing, Xerxes reassured. Doors will open. One did, a position at an LGBTQ plus nonprofit, advocating for workplace equality. Jordan thrived, channeling his experience into policy changes. But success brought envy. Colleagues whispered about his privileged background, questioning his authenticity. Xerxes faced his own trials. The lawsuit payout helped, but fame as an activist invited threats, hate mail, online trolls. One night, a brick shattered their window with a note. Fags deserve nothing. Terrified, they installed security, but the incident shook Jordan. Is this worth it? Constant fear. Yes, Xerxes said fiercely. Because silence is worse. Their relationship strained under the pressure. Jordan yearned for normalcy, a quiet life, perhaps marriage. Xerxes pushed for more visibility, proposing they share their story in a documentary. I don't want our pain exploited, Jordan argued. It's not exploitation. It's inspiration, Xerxes countered. The disagreement festered, leading to a blowout. You're using our story for your cause, Jordan accused. And you're still hiding behind comfort, Xerxes shot back. Jordan stormed out, crashing at a friend's. Alone, he reflected on his journey, from closeted heir to out advocate. The cost? Family, fortune, peace. Was it worth it? He returned the next day, apologetic. I support you. Let's do the documentary. Filming unearthed buried emotions. Interviews with Richard, who reluctantly participated, revealed his own regrets. I lost my son over stubbornness, he admitted on camera. The revelation prompted a tentative reunion. At a family Thanksgiving, Richard's invitation, tensions simmered. Xerxes attended, the first time meeting Richard face-to-face. So, you're the one who turned my world upside down, Richard said gruffly. Xerxes smiled. No, sir. Love did that. Dinner was awkward, but breakthroughs happened. Richard shared stories of his youth, hinting at suppressed feelings. Maybe I was wrong about a lot. Jordan teared up. Thanks, Dad. But mending wasn't linear. A tabloid twist. Mark, the original leaker, came forward with proof, that Jordan orchestrated the leak to sabotage his father. It was fabricated, but mud stuck. The nonprofit placed Jordan on leave pending investigation. Devastated, he spiraled into doubt. Maybe I am a traitor. Xerxes stood by him. Fight it, like I did. They hired a lawyer, uncovering Mark's motive. Revenge for being passed over. Cleared, Jordan returned stronger. Societal mementos persisted. At a gala, a donor withdrew support upon learning of their relationship. We don't endorse that lifestyle. Jordan fired back publicly. Then we don't need your money. The stance cost funding but gained allies. Their story inspired others, young gays reaching out, sharing similar struggles. Yet, personal tolls mounted. Xerxes' health suffered from stress. Jordan battled anxiety. They leaned on each other, but questions lingered. Had their choices been right? One evening, watching the sunset, Jordan proposed. Marry me, let's build our future. Xerxes accepted. Rings exchanged in a private ceremony. But vows didn't erase scars. Richard attended the wedding, a small affair. Proud of you, son, he murmured. Post-honeymoon, challenges continued. Adopting a child? Family opposition loomed. But they pressed on, committed. In quiet moments, doubts crept. Had the pain been necessary? Or avoidable? Years blended into a tapestry of triumphs and trials. Jordan and Xerxes' marriage became a beacon for many, their documentary winning awards and sparking national conversations on corporate inclusivity. Harlan Tech, under new leadership, implemented reforms, crediting the lawsuit as a catalyst. Richard, in retirement, volunteered at LGBTQ+ centers, his transformation a testament to change's possibility. But beneath the surface, shadows lingered. Jordan occasionally woke from nightmares of disownment, questioning if he'd sacrificed too much for love. Xerxes grappled with forgiveness, wondering if Jordan's initial silence had irreparably damaged their trust. A new conflict arose when they decided to start a family. Adoption agencies scrutinized their past, the scandal, the public life. Are you stable enough? One caseworker asked. Offended, Xerxes fought back legally, turning it into another crusade. Jordan supported but wearied. Can't we just live quietly now? No, Xerxes said. Our story isn't over. They adopted a boy, Liam, whose joy filled their home. But parenting amplified pressures. School bullies targeted Liam for having two dads, echoing societal biases. Jordan confronted the school, advocating fiercely. My son deserves respect. The incident awakened old angers. At a family reunion, Richard's attempt at normalcy, tensions flared when a cousin made a homophobic joke. Jordan exploded. Enough! We've paid the price for your ignorance. Richard intervened. He's right. No more. The family shifted, slowly accepting. But costs accumulated, lost friendships, strained health, constant vigilance. In therapy, they unpacked it all. Do you regret us? Xerxes asked once. Never, Jordan replied. But the path was brutal. Their love endured, deepened by adversity. They co-authored a book, Shadows of Silence, detailing their journey. Conflicts, betrayals, awakenings. At a book signing, a young man approached. Your story saved me. I came out because of you. Moments like these affirmed their choices. Yet, in quiet reflection, Jordan pondered the moral ambiguities. Had his betrayal of his father been justified? Was Xerxes' unrelenting activism selfish or heroic? Life moved forward. Liam grew, surrounded by love. Richard became a doting grandfather, his prejudices faded. As they aged, hand in hand on their porch, overlooking the city that witnessed their saga, peace settled. But one question remained, sparking endless debates among those who knew their tale. Was Jordan right to betray his family for love, or should he have chosen a quieter path to reconciliation?